flirting. World full of busy bees working. I ain't never met a free person. I don't get along with these earthlings. I'm trying to seek purpose, fight for something I believe's worth it. Feel the curse, I'ma reverse it. I don't dream cause I sleep nervous. Yet I keep flirting, face death like a Steve Irwin. Whole heat, I'ma drink thermos. Tell the bartender keep serving. I'm trying to be perfect, using dirty shit to clean dirt with. Only happy when the weed burning. Traded oxygen to breathe herb in. Till I see curtains, lungs fail and they cease working. Air is something that I need urgent. Suffocating, trying to squeeze words in. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test, final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest, so much harder than my last trek. Map blessed, hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address, down to my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Sweater shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt. Never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
I let the record show. I let the tech explode. Put on the weapon show. Pull up the Texaco. Knuckles in Mexico. Call up the technical. They know the text I blow. Shot that on Plexico. Turn you to vegetable. Body electrical. Acid and alkaline. Body so flexible. The shooter's feast like a Uber Eats. Got a group of these suited these cooler bees. While letting the Uzi Aruga speak. An American God up in Cuba eats. The powers they seek and powers the weak. They follow and creeps. Powers that be inherit the world from cowards and sheep. Been to the mountains, top towers and peaks. Flowers and sweets and showered our feet. The lightning and thunder that shower the sleep. Shower the D's. This not a verse, this our receipts.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test, final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours. Welcome to Know the Ledge Radio, Know the Ledge Media. You are now rocking with the best. This is your host for the evening. Yes, Brother Red Pill. Welcome to another episode of Third Eye Thursdays, episode 41. We are in the building. It is Halloween. You know what I'm talking about? I'm here as myself. All right? Yeah. So, we have West Phoenix in the building. Let's do the roll call before we even start today. Philly is in the building. Peace to the family. Peace to everybody that's out there. Tucson, Arizona's in the building. Indiana's in the building. Ottawa, Canada. Livermore, Detroit, Long Island. Oakland is in the building. 401 is in the building. West Los Angeles is in the building. The UK is in the building. PA is in the building. 912 is in the building. Brooklyn, Myrtle Beach, VA by way of PA. Shout out to Empress B444. Afghanistan is in the building. North Carolina's in the building. Philly's in the building. Shout out to Philly. 717 is in the building. Texas is in the building. All right. What'd you say? 71. What's KCMO? Chicago in the building. Shout out to Chirac.
Oh, Chicago in the
Cincinnati.
building. Shout out to Chirac. Oh.
337 Bay Area, New Orleans. 323 Charlotte. 704. That 4. Tampa's in the building. Kansas City's in the building. ATL is in the building. Salute. Seattle is in the building. 813 is in the building. 757 Red Eastern Pennsylvania. Memphis, Tennessee in the building. Manchuntucket, Connecticut. Brooklyn. Salute DJ Holiday. Lafayette, Louisiana. Peter Ogun 77. What's happening? Third Coast. What's happening? 419 Ohio. Salute, DC. Salute. You already know what it is. Peace and love to the family. How is everybody doing? It's been a minute. Love and light to everyone on the day, the Day of the Dead, the day of ancestor worship. Today is a retrograde in Scorpio. So shout out to everybody riding that Scorpio wave. Shout out to everyone that's silver surfing through the retrograde. And that things happen, good things happen in retrogrades. Don't ever let anything about a retrograde negatively affect you. You gotta master your own wave. You have to surf your own wave. You dig? So we're gonna get into some things. Melanin Monday. We were not able to do Melanin Monday. We were doing something with Brother Rich in Brooklyn, aka Father Rich in Brooklyn, with Blue Pillar and 19 Keys and my good brother Cambada. So I wasn't able to do the live stream with the family, and so good. Uh, Check that episode out on Black Magic 363 if you get a chance. Go tap into the brother. Yeah, it was definitely lit. You know what I mean? A lot of it was the meeting of the gods. We had our own Revolt TV type of panel going on. So we have an event on Sunday. The conversation was definitely dope. I wish that we started a little earlier. We took it until like 1 a.m. And then, Mondem was getting tired and we had to do rehearsals for our performance. So we wasn't able to really go in. You know what I mean? I appreciated the topics. Whenever the ADOS thing gets brought up, shit gets hot. You know what I mean? It's an interesting topic because I've never been in a room where everybody walks out of that room on the same page. I've never really been in a room when that conversation comes up and emotions don't run deep. One of the things that I would encourage, those who get emotional about conversations dealing with, reparations is let your emotions get, but don't let your emotions get the best of you. Let your emotions be able to express themselves, but don't let your emotions get the best of you, because by doing that you might lose you could lose focus about the information. Oh, somebody said it's more like lava. Yeah, it was definitely hot. I want to continue that conversation. I would love to continue that conversation, so we could do a little bit more of politicking. You dig? We could politic a little bit more. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the best thing that I could say about that. As for the thing with Kanye, West with the Jesus is King album, I got my opinions, and one of my opinions, some of those opinions, I'm going to keep those opinions to myself. I'm going to keep those opinions to myself, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be that judgmental over what people are out here doing, especially when it don't really have nothing to do with me at the end of the day. Yeah, I listened to it and I wasn't moved by it. I was not moved by the album one iota. You know, um, my negative review about how the album wasn't doing nothing for me, I don't think that that's gonna do nothing for the man's album. So at the end of the day, I'll let you, the viewer, the listener, I don't want to convolute, I don't want to pollute your mind with how I feel, you know what I'm saying? Because of my taste in music, or my quote unquote the criterias that I'm giving these artists to live up to. My criteria might not be the same criteria that you may run with. So what I would rather do is have us all listen to the album and then we all could critique it together. You know what I mean? Um, as for his whole conversion and the fact that he's talking to God, you see, somebody said that the album was dope in the chat. You know, that's personal preference. And at the end of the day, personal preference is something that I'm learning to respect. You know, you may have a different ear than me. Okay? You may be a Christian, right? And you know, we ain't out here shooting at shots at nobody because of their religion. I feel that that's a little bit juvenile. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's juvenile. Um, you know, if you're a Christian and you're into gospel, this might been that hot shit that you was looking for. You might have needed a little bit of edge from the Kirk Franklin catalog. You know what I'm talking about? You may need a little, you might need something a little more spicier than Mary Mary. But the album wasn't even spicy. The album wasn't even spicy like that. He didn't sprinkle enough sauce. He didn't sprinkle no adobo seasoning on that. It really tastes like Kim Kardashian's potato salad. You know what I'm talking about? It was very bland. It was very bland. If somebody says that it was dope, I did listen to it a few times. One of the things that kind of messed up, you know, or one of the things that convoluted me listening to it is the fact that I listened to Blue Pill and the brother Just B's album, Christ Consciousness. And this is not a shameless plug because that's my brother and whatnot, my twin. And he put out a fire ass project called Christ Consciousness. And it's streaming on his page for free. You could check it out. It's one of the videos. You know, the approach that the brother Blue Pill took to explaining the concept of Christ and Christ consciousness and God on wax, that shit to me was all I needed to hear. It did it for me. So I was like, all right, here we go. I'm going to let Kanye come in and, you know, I'm going to let him raise the bar. I'm going to let him add on, right? I'm going to let him fit right in that special space that my brother and Just Be carved. And he didn't even make it into the building, my friend. He was still on a, you know what I mean? Like, that nigga didn't even make it out of the parking lot. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. So I would caution the listeners who are probably gonna go and listen to it to listen to it. I can't say don't be judgmental because he's just an artist, you know what I mean? And he's bringing forth art. So be as judgmental as possible, you know what I mean? Compare that shit to other albums. You feel me? Compare it to other albums. Like, weigh it against his catalog. And I would promise you that you would be underwhelmed. You would be underwhelmed. You know, you would be underwhelmed. I was horribly underwhelmed. You know? I was like, what the fuck is this shit? It became a frisbee. And the shit is digital. It became a digital frisbee. You know what I mean? I didn't know where to fling it. But I think the anticipation was a little high. You feel me? And it didn't live up to his expectations. Anybody ever been on a date like that? You know, expectations are high. It's a lot of shit talking going on. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of, you know, a lot of braggadocio being put out there in the stream. You know what I'm saying? Shorty is talking a lot of hot shit. But when it comes down to it, it's not what it, you know, it wasn't what I bargained for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hitting like you said it was going to hit. You know what I'm talking about? You know, you ever bought a bag of something and it was like, yo, this is that Gorilla Glue. And you go home and it's only Elmer's, shit like that. So yeah, that was that right there. But what was more alarming to me, outside of the album was the 2 interviews that he gave. He gave an interview to Zane Lowe, and he gave an interview to Big Boy, or what, the dude that used to be fat from LA, used to be Big Boy's Neighborhood. Now he look crazy. And what struck me was his mental health and the bipolarism that was on full display, right? And the bipolarism and the quote unquote neurosis that this man was dealing with, so it kind of struck me as, you know, I was alarmed, and I was like, fam, who is around this man? The Zane Lowe interview, right? The Zane Lowe interview, he was doing an interview with the man Zane Lowe. I guess he's from the UK, and they were like inside of a dark space. Like, I guess he was in a barn or some shit, and they were looking out into the land that he owns. And he was mad jumpy, getting all hype for nothing. And he could not stay on topic. So I was like, damn, bro. I'm like, it's insightful. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your mind. I would love to, I want to explore your thought process, because at the end of the day, if he's a genius or if he's crazy, he still has something that a person like me could, I could pick up jewels. I could get jewels from a wino at the liquor store. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's such a thing called wino wisdom. So I'm like, you trying to sound mad deep, but it's not working, fam. Like, you one of those slow, intelligent niggas. Like, I appreciate the fact that he's talking about some of his demons. One of his demons was, he said that he was exposed to Playboy magazine when he was 5 years old. And he said every decision that he made after that was a result of that. Now, people don't talk about shit like that. They don't want to unpack statements like that. They don't want to unpack what he said. And FYI, I just was on Twitter earlier, and No Nut November is trending. Did you hear about No Nut November? For the fellas out there, I'm assuming that they're saying don't bust a nut for November. That's what No Nut November was. I'm doing something called the Scorpion King Challenge. I started it about 2 weeks ago. No, I started it about a week and a half ago, and it's almost similar to that. You dig? We're going to get to that in a minute, but I'm going to talk about the statement that Kanye made when he was speaking about the fact that he was exposed to a Playboy magazine when he was 5 years old. Now, when you're 5 years old, okay, somebody said they've been on a no fat for 3 months. Salute to you. Salute to you. Somebody No Shave November. That's all you participate in it. We're gonna get back to that in a minute. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna get to the No Nut November. We're gonna explore that. We're gonna unpack it. So he's basically saying, I was exposed to tits and ass. I was exposed to pornography. I was exposed to low-level soft porn, right? And he's saying that it's affecting him, okay? He's saying that it has affected him. That was a profound statement, and I appreciated him for his honesty as a man. That's something that men are not comfortable saying around other men. So when it comes to shit like that, I could be like, okay, I see where you're coming from. But talk about how it affected you. Like, get a little bit deeper. The Scorpion mind, inquiring and Scorpio minds want to know. You know what I'm saying? I want to diagnose, how are your decisions based off of that? Are you low-key saying that you married your wife because he said he had a porn addiction, and he said that he was attracted to porn stars. This was a few years into his career. You know, I listen to all of these interviews and I pay attention to what's being said. So I'm like, is that indicative of the disrespect or the misogyny that you have inserted as you begin to get darker and darker and darker in your music? And is that the basis of your Christianity? Are you finding Christ because of that? Okay? Because of that. Like, is it not sexual addiction? It's not called sexual addiction. Some people are like, "Oh, I got a sexual addiction." You know, they hide behind other addictions, like, you know, a pornography addiction might not necessarily equate to a sexual addiction. I think ASAP Rocky made a statement that he had a sexual addiction. You know, no nigga, you like watching porn. You know what I'm talking about? You like fapping. You know what I mean? You like jacking off. Don't, you know? Let's not cherry coat this shit. So, you know, he made that statement, and that statement was interesting. You know, then he made other statements, and you know, I just feel that when he got abducted, because I feel, you know, he got abducted. They abducted him from his trainer's house. His trainer made a phone call and they forcibly removed him. This is back when he went to the mental hospital. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Talib interview as well. When he talked about Kanye was into Kemet when he was rocking the big Hey Rue piece. Now we know that he was into Kemet because you don't wear no fucking life. He was wearing a fucking Hey Rue piece the size of a midget. You know what I'm talking about? This nigga had a midget size falcon, you know, Hey Rue around his neck, right? So that was alarm. Everybody was happy about that. Then he did the power video. He was on that wave. He kind of helped usher in the comedic wave that basically was taking over the culture around '09, 2010. Remember everybody was rocking the King Tut shit, the King Tut t-shirts. What year was Power? The song Power, what year? Uh this wasn't that early. This was maybe 2013 or some shit. I don't know. Hold on. 2010. All right. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy when he went Dolph on niggas. So 2010 is around the time that he started pushing that power shit. Then going all the way into like 2011, 2012, 13. You know what I'm talking about? That wave was all in. Remember, I'm out there. I'm in the streets. I'm basically selling comedic themed clothing. So I could tell you when it began to peak, because you know that's when the information began to get internalized by a lot of the younger generation. I'm not talking about victimhood consciousness, and there's no disrespect whatsoever to individuals who are out there who are protesters, social justice warriors, you know, the people who were alarmed at what happened to, you know, Tamir Rice and to Trayvon Martin and whatnot. I'm not necessarily speaking about that class of woke people. I'm speaking more so about the class of people who woke up before that without being reactionary, without a black child getting killed. They just woke up because that's what was in the air, right? That's what was in the air. That was the frequency that was permeating many different corners of black America at that time. And the individuals, both male and female, young and old, because your brain never stops growing, it never stops learning, it never stops its neuroplasticity, it never stops forming new neurons and things of that nature, or synapses and things of that. It never stops clicking. So, you know, you could be 80 and get onto this information and have a fucking second you could be born again into consciousness. You can have a euphoric light bulb moment. You know what I mean? So around that time, that's when he popped out. He had the Heru piece on. He was running around talking about, yo, he didn't necessarily say that he was God yet. That's the Yeezus era. Remember, that comes later on. Remember, he had the interview with Zane Lowe, and he was like, "Nigga, I'm God. Fuck is you talking about?" And he styled on. He went on Sway. He was on a campaign right there, and he was feeling himself. And that was that was the Kanye that I was familiar. I was the my twisted dark fantasy. That was the Kanye that I was fucking with. No one man should have all that power. Yeah, how Sway? He made Sway a meme. So he clowned Sway. He stunted on Sway. He made Sway a meme. Then after that, he gets his humble pie. Okay? He got sat down and he got renditioned. I feel like he got renditioned, and they took him to UCLA and they began to prescribe psychotropics, and they manipulated his consciousness. Okay? People are out here talking about clone, clone, clone. And I'm saying, understandably so, he looks mad different, right? But and with technology, with the fact that neuroscience is at such a, I'm studying for this lecture on Sunday. I'm studying neuroscience. I'm studying everything about the brain. I'm studying the technology, the medicines, the all of this stuff. And medicine is so advanced at this point where they don't necessarily, I did check out the Eric Snowden interview. They don't necessarily have to clone you. What they can do is they can manipulate your neural. They could go inside of your brain. You could become they could create neuroses by manipulating you through psychotropics. Psychotropics are basically the medication that they give people, and that helps trip them out. My grandmother, God bless her soul, God bless her soul, she was put on psychotropics when she was put in, she had a botched surgery, which resulted in her going into a nursing home. And basically, they did to her what I've seen them do to many different elders when they get you trapped into their system and they suck you dry and they misdiagnose you with different with different with these cocktails of psychotropics, and they could throw you off, especially our elders. So we have cases of dementia and all kind of other stuff, you know and it's heartbreaking what they're doing to our elders and what they're doing to young people in these hospitals with this neuroscience and whatnot, playing with their brains and whatnot. So somebody said that he got a lobotomy. Remember, they have chemical lobotomies right now. They could perform lobotomies through the chemicals. I don't know if they necessarily cut that man's head open and went into his brain, but I do know that I don't trust nothing that these people do. It's I don't trust a goddamn thing. He never has been the same ever since that night where he called out Jay-Z on stage at his concert, and they canceled his concert, and they basically took him into the hospital, and then he came home blonde. Like, that should tell you what's going on. He came home blonde next to Donald Trump. So they basically neutered that man. They clipped his scrotum from him. He doesn't have the testicular fortitude that he used to have. Did you hear his first interview? Not the one that just happened. The first one, when we first heard from him, he said, "Yo, I lost my confidence, my nigga. My confidence is what that was my operating, that was my engine. That's what I was working on. That's the shit, that's the energy that I was pulling from when I was out here stunting on you niggas." And he was like, "I lost my confidence." Do you know what that looks like in a bedroom? Men, you ever lose your confidence and then you gotta go home and perform? My nigga, that's a scary situation. You know what I'm talking about? So he was going through a whole bunch of stuff. Then he went and got lipo. Then he went and got liposuction and some other things. And my nigga's noodle is fried. You know what I'm saying? His noodle is fried. Yeah, he's a gummy bear. So they put him back in society, right? They put him back in society, and society is now judging him, and we're witnessing, right? And we're judging him against his old self versus his new self, and we're judging him, we're canceling him, we're pushing him out the way, we're pointing fingers at him. We're like, he's crazy, he's whack. That's what he gets for marrying Kim Kardashian, la 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 la. But what I see is a victim of the system and these crackers. You know? I don't think it was a black conspiracy. It wasn't a melanated conspiracy to take them down and to switch them up like that. You know? A lot of people are reacting off of the statement that I was making about our elders, mainly our grandparents and our great grandparents, and even some of our parents, and what is going on in these quote unquote malpractice or these hospitals where they're performing these rituals, or they're performing insurance scams, or they're performing botched surgeries, and then they are putting our elders on psychotropic medicine, which is bringing them into the state of Alzheimer's or dementia, and then they're letting them wither away because they will vehemently oppose you signing them out. I'm not gonna get into the whole story about my grandmother, my mother's mother, and what it and how it destroyed me. You know what I'm saying? Watching her go through what she was going through, and it's a touchy subject, bro. I don't wish that on nobody. I don't wish that on any man, woman, or child, not even an enemy. You know? Um, I don't wish that the pain that shit causes, I don't wish that on nobody, bro. Well, maybe the crackers, but you know, it was rough, bro. It was rough. It was rough on my whole family. And you know, the best thing that I would say, and what could we tell, Nana and them who believe in white coats. They believe in white Christ. They believe in white people. They came up in a day and age where if it wasn't right, it wasn't right. Let's just be honest. If it wasn't right, it wasn't right. They go into these hospitals, they see all of that shiny ass technology and whatnot. They like, I'm safe. The shit all clean and whatnot. They like, we good. Ain't nothing gonna happen. I'm out here watching Grey's Anatomy. I trust them. Not realizing that this shit is a racket and they're treating people's bodies. Look at the organ harvesting going on. Look at the organ harvesting going on. Look at the fact that I posted an article where the LA Times wrote an article about the LA coroner. What they have situations where they're not able to finish autopsies because before they could finish the autopsies, they're taking the organs from people who are freshly deceased and they're harvesting them. Right? They're harvesting them. They're chopping them up. They're taking people's limbs. They're taking their eyes. They're taking livers and lungs and hearts and all of these things. There's a chart on my page to show you that the human body is worth millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Right? When you chop it up, I'm talking about the eyeballs, the goddamn scrotum, your melanin, okay? They're taking your skin. And I'm not out here trying to scare you niggas. It's Halloween. Don't get scared. You know what I mean? This is facts. This is medical facts. Just do the research. Just do the research. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even know about this shit like that. I wasn't aware of how deep this thing was going, right? So there are people in China, billionaires, who need body parts. There are people in Israel, billionaires, who need full functioning body parts. There's Europeans who have the bread. You know what I'm talking about? To pay for these things. They're getting new hearts. They're getting heart transplants. They're getting penis transplants. They're getting they're getting kidney transplants. They're even getting blood transfusions and whatnot, right? So, case in point, why the disasters like earthquakes and floods is called the disaster industry, because now the organ harvesters and the quote unquote body, the human traffickers and shit like that, they're lined up in all of that. They're part of the disaster industry. So if an earthquake goes down, they come dressed up like NGOs, non-governmental organizations. They hop off of a plane with a Blue Cross or Red Cross, whatever the fuck they decide to be, and they out there scouting for bodies. They're out there scouting for organs. They're out there scouting for bodies and human beings that they could traffic. Because if you sell a young girl or a young boy on the quote-unquote underground sex slave market or the human trafficking market, you could get a lot of money. You know what I'm talking about? And it's not as dangerous as trying to transport 20 kilos of doogie. You know what I'm talking about? The doogie, the horse, nigga, or that cocaine. You know what I mean? Or some trees and whatnot. People are abandoning the drug trafficking. I'm talking about criminals. I'm talking about hardcore, bottom feeders. Right? I'm talking about hardcore bottom feeders, hardened criminals who don't have too much heart. You know, their hearts don't beat for people who are not part of their tribe. So they out here snatching bodies, body snatchers. You know, I did a show where I talked about that about 2 weeks ago. You know, I spoke about the sex trafficking industries. I spoke about the dangers that are out there that are being posed to our children based off of a video that I saw on the Breakfast Club. It was 2 videos. It was one by a sister named Tammy, or I forgot her name. There's another one, Satonia Brown, the sister who came home. She was locked up for life for killing her John, right? And she was exonerated and they let her out. So I did a show and I was like, yo, watch your children. You know, watch your babies. You dig? Because we got some motherfuckers out here in these streets that are not playing by the rules. There ain't no more rules right now. We think we got it all figured out. Oh, I'm not in a gang. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm mad drippy. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm bloody red. I'm not in a gang. I'm not selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe niggas money. So I'm safe. That's the mentality that some people have. They feel like it's easy going out here. But they're not realizing that the underworld or the criminal game is switching over to something a little more sinister than pitching a motherfucking pack. You know what I'm talking about? What up, Jason Williams, Elm Street? It's a little more sinister than pitching a pack these days. They out here body snatching and kidnapping and stealing babies from niggas. Do you know? I don't even want to get into it, bro. I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to speak certain things into the internet. All I want to say is, parents, we got to keep an eye on these babies. Okay? There was a scare earlier today. The brother Polite's daughter went missing. I woke up to see that shit. I was horrified. You understand? I watched that little girl grow up from a baby. I was fucking distraught. Okay? Me and that man don't get up. We don't agree. We don't see eye to eye. I don't fuck with him like that. But I was distraught when I saw the thing about his baby. If there's somebody out here in our community, because I've come across some very highly intelligent human beings to the point where some of you niggas might be aliens. If there's somebody out there, right, who could come up with not a chip, not a RFID chip, because I mentioned something about chipping my children and niggas went crazy, right? But no, he got his daughter back. Don't worry about it. It's all good. His daughter's safe. She's safe. She's not gone. You know what I mean? It was for a few hours. It was sad. Somebody said I'm a clone. Yeah, I probably am a clone. The nigga with the afro, that's a clone. Red Pill with the afro is a clone. Watch out. But we should begin to really think about, like, I don't know, because my son has an iPhone, right? I could track him with the iPhone. They got the iPhone tracker. I know where he's at. But if they kidnapping children, they're gonna take the phone. So how could you track your child? How could you track your child, right? How could you track them without putting a chip in them? But what is the technology that can be created to where you could live comfortably knowing that if anything were to happen, I could find that child instantly, like this, boom. Somebody said they have a tracker on their kids' clothes, in the clothing. Okay, I could dig it. I could dig it. You put the tracker in their underwear. You know what I'm talking about? A GPS tracker ring or wristband. When I was watching the video where the sister, because she was a former prostitute or former sex worker, and she was spilling the tea on that underworld. She was like, they know about all of that. They taking off rings. They taking the bracelets off. They throwing that shit away. So it would have to be something that's hidden, right? Could we give them a tracker tooth? Think about it. What about a tracker dental implant? You know what I'm saying? It's not in their bodies. It's not in their skin. It could be like a fake tooth, but the shit is a tracker. If one of y'all niggas want to be a billionaire, get you some motherfucking Gorilla Glue and sit down and think about this is a solution. You know what I'm saying? This is a great idea. Here I go again, throwing out billion-dollar ideas as if I don't need the billions. You know what I'm saying? But we have to come up with something, maybe a tracker barrette. You could put a barrette in their hair and the shit is a tracker. I don't know, but it would have to be something inconspicuous that the goddamn kidnappers never heard about. You know what I'm saying? It have to be something that they don't even know about, because if we know about it as parents, then goddamn it, they know about it. So all I'm saying, oh, they had a tracker tooth and Gemini Man? I didn't even see that. I'm going to have to check that out. But this is an issue. And this issue got introduced to the community today by way of this story that I just mentioned earlier. So now the community is aware of the fact that children are being kidnapped or being coerced or being trafficked by these low-life motherfuckers that are out here. Okay? Yeah, a weave tracker. How about you put the track in the glue, right? That you lay the track in. So it's a track tracker. That's brilliant. How about a track tracker? I think that'll work. You just slap the weave on a little baby and send her out. You know what I'm talking about? That shit might work. You know what I mean? It might work. That part, you could put microchips all in the weave part, all in the, all in the lace front part. Um, fake net. I'm just saying, you know, a group of y'all should get together, have a meetup, and just make this $1 billion idea and name me as the founder of your corporation or your, you know, give me some percentage on some Silicon Valley shit. You know what I mean? Just give me some percentage, give me some equity, and we'll be good. You know what I mean? I don't have to take you to court on some Byron Allen shit. I don't have to take you to the Supreme Court and wash you up, and we'll be good. And we'll be good. But we have a lot of time on our hands in this community, and there's millions of us. So why don't we just, you know, we should split up in groups and start making shit. How about that? You know what I'm saying? How about we break up in some groups and start making shit? You know, how about we have the ADOS think tank? How about we have the Foundational Black American think tank? How about the immigrant think tank? How about the melanated think tank? Shit like that. How about the left-handed think tank? Because there's always everybody's finding a reason to you know, separate and go into different groups. So all you niggas that are right-handed, y'all get together, and everybody that's ambidextrous, you'll get in a group, and we should just start brainstorming and coming up with these solutions, because I promise you, it don't have to be like if it's happening, it don't gotta be one of our own. But if it's happening, then there should be something that's done about that. I'm adamant on some taking shit. Like I'm ready to knock a nigga top off if I find out that they have anything to do with human trafficking. Like that shit should be frowned upon. That should be a death sentence. Straight like that. Straight like that. You know? You're not human if you out here snatching babies, my nigga. You're not. You know? But you know, how many of y'all saw Byron Allen's interview on The Breakfast Club? How many people saw Byron Allen's interview on The Breakfast Club? Byron Allen interview was fire. Yeah, Byron Allen's interview was fire. You know what I'm talking about? And I wish that the three hosts were a little deeper. Like, shout out to Angela Yee. You know what I mean? She's the weakest link in the chain. And that's no offense to her whatsoever. No, DJ Envy's the weakest link. I like Angela Yee. I feel like Angela Yee should find a mentor, right? Because I heard an interview with I think she had quit the Breakfast Club and she came back, but she was complaining that she doesn't get enough time to talk and they look over her. I'm like, they look over you because you're not dropping bombs. You know what I'm saying? You need to insert your motherfucking intelligence into the conversation and stop coming with these, but really, you know what I mean? Like, you have to step up, sister. You know what I mean? You gotta get some consciousness in your life. You might need you a hotep in your life. You know what I'm saying? We might have to find her somebody who could raise up her consciousness, because I feel like she has a lot to say. DJ Envy, you know, we ain't gonna talk about DJ Envy. Charlemagne, you know, yeah. Basic, real basic, right? Real basic Barry shit. But this was an introductory. I didn't anticipate to watch Byron Allen's interview and the shit to be some super duper deep consciousness shit. He did his job. He laid it out. Like, he laid it the fuck out. He let people know what it's about. You gotta burn your knee pads. That should have been trending. Why is my screen frozen? They got the screen frozen. What's going on? But anyway, You know, yeah, Breakfast Club is definitely ending very soon. I don't think that they could stay. That chemistry is not going to stay the way that it is. Fear is slavery. Fear is slavery, right? That was a fear is. I mean, it's simple, but it makes so much sense because he said, "Fuck fear." Burn your knee pads. Translations. Get off of your fucking knees to these white folks. We don't have to live in fear. If you die on your feet, you die a legend. We're all checking out one day, right? We all checking out one day. We all have a date with destiny. So it just people are afraid of how they're gonna go out. They don't want to get tortured or they don't want to get shot going out. But like I said, I'm here to let you know. I did the MEO5DMT. It's called the ego death, the quote unquote toad medicine, right? Go and do your research on MEO5DMT. And you don't have to don't think that I didn't. It's not a drug, it's not a narcotic, it's from a fucking toad, my nigga. It's natural, right? And by taking the toad medicine, I came face to face with what death feels like, and there's nothing to be afraid of. Take it from me, okay? You might not believe what little old red pill might have to say. So go and, go and inquire and do the research on your own damn time. You know what I'm talking about? Go and convince yourself. But I'm here to let you know the Christian church and other means of religion have made death so scary and painful and something that we don't want to face, even though it's inevitable. And I'm here to let you know that's why niggas is not on that's why so many people are on their knees. Because they live in this fear state. Fear is a wheelchair. Fear will cut your motherfucking uh feet from under you. How did it feel? That shit felt like God. It felt if I ain't I'm not doing too much of nothing. That's like I said. I was shook daddy to take the shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was shook to death. My brother had did it. Cambada did the shit. I was like, fam, I'm gonna do it one day. But low key, I was afraid. I had fear. I had to get over that fear. And when I did it, I was like, wow, this shit is fucking life. Like, I feel great. And to be honest with you, my ego went away and I basically tapped into what is known as the all, or what is known as God, or what is known as the omnipotent, omnipresent energy. It's a light. It's not what they call God is a fucking energy. It's a light. You don't see God, you feel it. Yeah, it's definitely scary at first. Nigga, this is Halloween, so we could talk about shit like this. Don't get scared. You niggas was just out here dressed like fucking the Teletubbies. And you know how many fucking devils I saw today dressed up? You know how many women were devils and men were devils? Well, mostly women. You know how many people were running around looking like ghouls and goblins? But niggas is scared of a fucking toad. You know what I'm talking about? Nah. Yeah, Charlemagne is the smartest on the Breakfast Club. I do give him that. What is my take on shrooms? Dr. Sabi introduced me to the psilocybin when I was a young adult. And that shit was a great experience. I had a great experience. And lately, I've been trying to have that same experience, but it hasn't worked out. Now, for the record, I just want y'all to understand that everything that I'm speaking of, from the toad to the shrooms to even the marijuana, these are not synthetic drugs. These are not qualified as drugs. I'm not communicating with you about taking narcotics. I'm not on here saying, "Oh, I'm on narcotics," so I took no, nigga. I took a psilocybin. That shit helped deal with depression. You know what I'm talking about? It helped rewire my brain cells. When I did the research on a MEO5DMT, that shit makes your gamma waves in your brain jump up 100%. Do you even know what your gamma waves are? Your gamma waves are the waves that your brain are in when you're in super, super deep consciousness. Like, have you ever been in a place where your consciousness is on fleek and where you're just thinking, you're like, yo, I'm solving problems. Shit is being downloaded. I'm figuring out the motherfucking Fibonacci sequence. All of that is gamma waves. I don't fuck with LSD because that's a narcotic, right? I don't know about LSD. I won't advocate for anything that's made in a lab. I'm not advocating for Molly. I'm not advocating for ecstasy. I'm not advocating for acid. I'm not advocating for LSD. None of these things. I would advocate for ayahuasca. I would advocate for peyote. I would advocate for the shrooms. I would advocate for the toad. Why? Because each one of these things that I'm advocating for is about healing. Because I know if I know what I went through in life, right? I know the hardships that I went through in life. I know the quote unquote traumatic experiences that I experienced in life. I know that I buried a whole bunch of people who I wasn't supposed to be burying when I was a young man, and that shit did something, that shit traumatized me. Growing up in the 90s was traumatizing. So in my pursuit of knowing thyself, man, know thyself. In my pursuit of knowing thyself, nigga, I got 2 children. You know what I'm saying? 2 children. I've been in traumatic experiences. So I know that I have to heal. This is what I know. This is not something that I'm thinking. I'm not the same person today that I was when y'all first met me in like 2005. That's when I came on the internet, like 2005. I'm nowhere near the same person. I've been dealing with healing myself. Have I been hurt through those years? I've been crushed. I've been destroyed. You know what I'm saying? I've been through all kind of shit. But once I understood that all of these experiences were something that I signed up to do, and when I realized that a lot of this shit was an effect, and I knew what the cause was, most of the time I put myself into that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't into the finger pointing, even when it comes down to what we see going on in good old America with us and these Caucasians. I am never going to be in no kind of victimhood mode trying to blame some goddamn peckerwood who just came out of a cave somewhere for my problems. No, hell nah. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. He's a op. I can identify him as a op, but I know in this realm of duality, if it wasn't him, it'd be the yellow man. If it wasn't the yellow man, nigga, be the red man. If it wasn't the red man, it'd be the brown man. In this duality, we're always gonna have an antagonist to the protagonist, right? We're always gonna have opposition. We're always gonna have a situation where we're going to be tested by other people. The cat has a lifelong beef with the motherfucking rat. The dog has a lifelong beef with the cat. They are not the same. And they understand this. And they move and they function as such. In nature has created a quote unquote pyramid or a hierarchy or what they call a food chain. So I'm very understanding. I understand where I stand and where my people stand on the food chain. I get it. I wake up and I'm good with it. I don't let that shit eat at me. And I don't let it control my destiny. And I don't let it cripple me in fear. And I don't let it make me walk around with a heavy heart. I'm not mad at anything. I'm actually very much pleased with the reality that I've incarnated in. Even though it's crazy as fuck, right? It's a dark, twisted fantasy. It's my crazy, dark, twisted fantasy. And I'm owning that shit. You know what I'm talking about? I'm owning it. I'm not a victim in this shit. I'm owning it, bro. This is all my doing. You know what I mean? And it's my doing and it's my undoing. You damn right we asked for this. You damn right we asked for this. So to be honest with you, all of the problems that we're facing as a people, look, that's one of the reasons why I'm waking up every morning. Some people would rather tap out when they realize that we have all of these problems. Nigga, I wake up with a smile on my face because it's another day to create a solution to the problems. Nigga, I have something to live for. There's people who don't got nothing to live for. You understand? There's people who wake up and they like, yo, I don't got nothing to live for. There's billionaires out here, family. There's people who got what a majority of us aspire. Mad money, big bags, billions. And these niggas wake up like, yo, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? They are depressed. They don't want to be here. Some of them had to do certain things to get those billions. Like, sell drugs, human traffic. You know what I'm talking about? Participate in all kind of debauchery. And they don't have a soul. Their soul is gone. So what good is the man who gains all of the wealth in the world, but you don't got no soul? What good is it? Here it is, you got Kanye West. He was all on the internet years ago talking about he was in debt and he was depressed and he wanted white people to recognize him and he needed help from Mark Zuckerberg. Now he got 4 children, $1 billion off of apparel, a wife, and that nigga still depressed. I'm not buying the Jesus shit. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. That's a blanket. That's a blanket. But the depression is still there. You know what I'm talking about? The loss of the mother, the depression and other little things. So you gain that $1 billion, but you don't have your mind, though. He don't got his confidence. He don't have his mind. He don't have the same mind that he had before. If they took my mind and made me a motherfucking where niggas is like I got cloned and whatnot, and then they gave me $1 billion, you think I would be happy? So what I noticed keeping him sane and not basically flipping out is the fact that he has access to resources to create solutions. So he figures that his Sunday church or the Sunday service is dealing with solutions. And I agree. I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not a Christian, so I'm not showing up to sing from the goddamn Bible. But there's enough Christians out here that nigga needs to service. So he plays a part in this world, right? That there's a supply and demand chain going on. He's supplying them with their Sunday service. Kudos to that man. Kudos to that man. But imagine if he didn't have that to keep him occupied and he just had to lay around with the fucking Kardashians all weekend. You know what I'm talking about? What if he had to lay around and listen to Chloe and the other ones go off, Kylie Jenner and all of them? Nigga, he would have been lost his noodles. He'd have been lost his mind. So that is a form of therapy for him. Sunday service. I went when I was in 2003. I was a fucking knuckle dragger, fam. Right? I was a knuckle dragger. I was in school to be conscious. I was still in the classroom. I was learning how to be conscious. I was learning how to behave. I was learning how to not be a motherfucking a goddamn a dark, shady character. And I was in California, right? I was in California and I was invited to Lamerick Park. This was 2003, right? I was invited to Lamerick Park and I stumbled upon a Sunday service, right? I stumbled onto what is called Sunday service in Limerick Park. I don't know if he got this idea from their Sunday service, but the Sunday service that I witnessed was an all-white, it wasn't a church. It was an all-white storefront. It was set up, I guess it was set up like a church because it had all-white chairs, pews and whatnot. The spot was, everything was white. White walls. Yeah, Lamert Park, right? White walls, white chairs. They had a stage. And on that stage, they had musicians. Nobody was preaching. Them niggas was playing jazz, right? They had on all white. These brothers, they was rocking. I'm talking about it was a jam session. Okay? It was a jam session. And I had smoked some chronic, right? Before I went into the jam session. You know, I had some Cali Bud, bro. Shit blew my mind was right. And I remember sitting in that service. Now, mind you, like I said, at that time, I was still dibbling and dabbling in the underworld. So when you dibble and dabble in the underworld, for anybody who's ever dibbled and dabbled in the underworld, you know that shit comes with a lot of issues. Like, it's a lot of baggage that comes with being a part of the underworld. You always got some shit on your mind. Somebody's always trying to get at you. There's always some kind of, you know, sometimes you got cases hanging over your head. It's always some drama. There's always some craziness going on in that world because it's a crazy world. So I'm sitting there in this Sunday service, all bass instruments, trombone, they playing the drums. There's a brother on the piano. There's a brother on the sax. And I grew up with jazz in my household. My father has a jazz collection out of this world, right? So me and Blue Pill grew up in a jazz heavy environment all of my life. My father is not religious. He's an atheist. My mother, Mama Pill, she's not religious. So whenever we would go and stay with her, there was no pressure to be at church. Of course, you got grandparents and whatnot, and they want to pull you into the church and shit. But for the most part, our church was music. That's where we used to get our gospel from. We didn't listen to gospel music. We listened to jazz, right? So I'm sitting down and I'm listening to this jazz in Lamert Park. And I'm high as a kite. I'm on some good though. I'm on some real good. And I was getting healed from the music, fam. The tones and the frequencies that were coming out of those instruments, it was almost like, I mean, I'm sure there's some Christians listening and whatnot. Nigga, it was almost like TD Jakes on auto-tune. And he's writing, it's almost like Pastor Franklin, you know what I'm talking about? On auto-tune. You know what I mean? It was just all over. You know what I mean? Like, the music was getting in my soul. It was lifting me up. It was lifting me up. You dig? And I was like, wow. Yo, it was so majestic that I missed my flight that day. I missed my flight and I had to reschedule it for a whole week. I stayed in California a whole 7 more days so I could basically catch another Sunday service. And then I began, this really was pushing me on a more conscious path. You dig? This was beginning to push me on a more conscious path. I promise you, that one session, that experience in California was somewhat of a catalyst that pushed me more on the side to embracing the conscious life than I ever had before. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure Blue Pill, when we talk about our history, nigga, I was resisting this shit. You know what I'm saying? I was fighting this. This was a downgrade to me. Nigga, I was fighting consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Consciousness? Nigga, what? You want me to stop eating meat? You want me to do what? You want me to wear what? You want me to sit in a lecture, bro? Like, I was a hater. You know what I'm saying? I was a hater. I was one of the biggest haters. I was like Star and Buck Wild, nigga. I was a subjective hater to all things consciousness. But of course that changed. You know, all of that changed. It was a process. I would love to tell that story in a movie type of form later on, but you know, it was a process. You know what I'm saying? The allure, right? The magnetic pull of the grave, my nigga. The magnetic pull of the bottom was so strong. I was entangled in so many fucking webs, bro. I had so many tentacles around my neck from the underworld, from death culture, that it was pulling me under, and my brother did not want to see me die. He did not want to see the streets take me. He did not want to bury his twin, so he did everything in his power to save me, bro. I was rebelling against Dr. Sabi. I was rebelling against Mama Pill. I was rebelling against my younger adolescent. I was rebelling against KT, bro. KT got stories for days. When I was in Atlanta, this was like 99, 2000, 01. I was so knuckle dragger that nigga would not allow me to meet Lisa Left Eye Lopez. He was like, nah, you can't meet her. I was like, nigga, take me to Left Eye. He was like, no. He was like, you cannot meet her on this frequency that you're on. You're too negative. You know? And he knew the kind of character that I had at that point, that I didn't respect boundaries. You know, I did not respect boundaries. So I probably would have pulled up. She might have had a man there, and I would have still shot my shot. You know what I'm talking about? He knew what that was. He knew what I was trying to do. So he helped save me from myself, because I didn't want to, you know, I don't know. But like I said, the reason why I connect with people who don't fuck with consciousness, and, you know, they like, yo, I ain't with this shit. Like, I ain't, you know, because I understand where they're coming from. They're relatable to me, and they tell me that I'm relatable to them because, you know, we came from the same place. We came from a dark place. But one of the things that I realized once I cleaned my act up is that a lot of that shit was trauma. And that goes back to the initial statement that I was just making, that I'm an advocate for healing from trauma, regardless of we can't walk in each other's shoes. We don't have to act like, yo, my traumatic experience, I had more trauma than you, Rev. Oh, I got shot in my nut sacks and no. We don't have to do that. Trauma is trauma. I'm not out here trying to compare traumas, my nigga. Hurt is hurt. Trauma is trauma. Pain is pain. You feel me? Look, we were in Scorpio. This is Halloween. This is All Hallows Eve tonight. They said that the gates are down, that I'm communicating with the ancestors. So, yeah, I'm speaking about the part of myself that's no longer a part of me. I'm speaking about the part of myself that I had to bury in order to rebirth the person that I am now. Right? So, this is all about resurrection. This is all about rebirth. Scorpio, the sign of Scorpio, we about resurrection and rebirth, right? Yeah, if you got some ancestor money, definitely burn it. I'm going to burn me a little mitt tonight. I'm going to burn a little mitt, a little bankroll of the ancestor money. So, my transformation was painful, okay? My transformation was mad painful. I lost people who I loved and whatnot when I went through this transformation. You feel me? When I went through this transformation, I lost people who I was real close to and shit. You know? And even it's shit like that I still gotta deal with. You dig? I still gotta deal with all of these things because it's still shit that I carry with me. I don't regret it at all. I don't regret it. And to be honest with you, the people who the people who I'm speaking of, the love has been restored. Not on the same level, but it's still a level of respect. You dig? And in life, if we fall out of love with people who are in our life and we're no longer in relationships with them, or they're no longer our friends, as long as we could keep a level of respect, oh man, that's how you can heal your heart. As long as when you see that person, they still respect you because they like, damn, you gave up your former life for this shit right here, but I could see how this shit right here is helping you. I always say this. You don't gotta worry about the niggas that you leave behind. Cause if they gonna come around before you come back to them. They gonna come to you like, yo, what's that shit about CMOS I've been hearing about? Like, I remember you was talking about that 10 years ago. Yeah, nigga, here, go get you go drink some CMOS. Relax. You know what I mean? They're gonna come around to you before you come back around to them. It ain't like you gonna go back and be like, damn, man, I tried out this conscious shit, but I think I'm going back to this Jesus shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, yo, I was out there levitating and shit and doing yoga, but I'm gonna just go back to selling box. You know what I mean? Fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go back. There's no going back. You're not gonna go back. Because if you go back, you'll be discredited for all of the sacrifice that you did to get where the fuck you at right now. You gotta wait for the niggas who you left behind to catch up to you. Because they're on the same road that you on. You just don't know it because you're so far down the road. You're so far down the road. But you don't know that your homie just had a motherfucking he had a spat with his baby mama because he was like, yo, you can you cook some quinoa? She's like, king what, nigga? King Burger King? No, quinoa. Like, you know what I mean? Or he's like, yo, I want to eat healthier. Or, I think we should start reading books and shit instead of watching Love and Hip Hop. Like, I think you should turn that off. Like, people are having conversations like that, and people are challenging the level where they at. But you don't know about that because you so far going on your journey, but they trying to get on that journey to come to join you and whatnot. And sometimes pride gets in the way to where somebody who called you crazy 5 years ago is like, yo, son, nigga, fuck that, nigga. I'm crazy for calling you crazy. Because I promise you, this is on everything, bro. Nigga, the niggas that was calling you crazy, when they wake up and look at what the fuck is going on in the world, they owe you an apology. They owe you an apology. You wasn't crazy. You was just looking into the future, nigga. You was just on a whole nother plane of existence. Cause you could be standing right next to a person, but y'all on the same planet, but you on different planes. That motherfucker, you're not looking at the same thing that they're not looking at. Remember, our brains are unique. Okay? Reality is perception, and perception forms in the mind. So based off of my perception of who the fuck I am, nigga, if I see a white person and based off of the perception of who the fuck you are, when you see a white person, we see two totally different things. That's just how it is. That is just how it is. Because my mind is different. So what my eyes perceive is going to be different from what you perceive. You might look at a white man who's 5'2", and that nigga might look like he's 6'3" in your eyes. You might look at a cracker and that motherfucker look like Christopher Reeves. You know what I mean? He might look like Clark Kent in your eyes. And when I look at him, I see Poindexter, Bartholomew. You know what I mean? I see motherfucking Mr. Burns. It's a whole different perception because it's based off of where I am in my square. It's just based off of know thyself. So when I know thyself, and when I know me, I know you. When I know me, nigga, I know you. I can't know Red Pill. I can't know Phil and not know who the fuck you are that all around. I can't know who y'all are in the chat room. By knowing me, I know who the fuck you are. Right? A alike, B alike, C alike. So man know thyself allows us to see us for who the fuck we are. You will not know thyself if you are in society looking through the lens that they fashion at lens crafters. If you put on the glasses that society is handing out, my genius, you'll never see yourself. You'll never know who the fuck you are. You'll die. You're gonna die in pain. You are going to motherfucking wear out so many knee pads. You're gonna wear out so many knee pads. You know what I'm saying? That these niggas is like, no. If you don't know who you are and the way society is set up right now, because keep in mind, remember in the movie The Matrix, there was a very interesting part that people should really, I mean, the whole movie is interesting, but there was a part that Morpheus, or I don't know if it was Agent Smith or Morpheus, but it was Agent Smith talking to Morpheus, and he said something about the Matrix, right? Upgrading itself every time it was encountered with the Neo. So every time that the Matrix had to face one of the Neos who was not the one, the Matrix had to upgrade itself. It had to level up because what it was basically saying was, look, you niggas is not gonna get me again. You niggas ain't pulling the same con on me again. You're not gonna get lucky with that same fucking hand or with that same play or with that same move. It's almost like when you're on a basketball court and you made a nigga a poster or you broke his ankles and whatnot. If you can't keep doing that because he's gonna level up, he's gonna either learn from that L that he took, or he's gonna keep becoming a poster. The way not 7 times out of 10, certain competitors, they learn from their L's or they learn from their failures. They fail forward and the motherfuckers get stronger. The Matrix gets stronger, right? Every time you level up on it. So the fact that society is set up like this these days where they've created social media, that's a new trap. Just when niggas was wiggling out of one trap, right? Just when the underground DVDs and the VHS tapes was breaking us out of regular media or media, because it's interchangeable. Media and media, interchangeable, right? Same thing. We were breaking out of mainstream media. We were breaking out of what is known as, regular media. Niggas was like, I don't watch TV no more. I'm trying to give up on cable. You know what I mean? I'm just down to three. I'm just down to 3 channels: HBO, Showtime, and ESPN. Niggas was weaning off of that shit and getting back into themselves and getting back into the studies, right? Do you know how impressed I was when I came into the community and I'm going to niggas' cribs and I'm looking at I'm talking about book collections that you've never seen before. And I'm in the hood. I'm with hood brothers and sisters. I'm with the hood. And they got big book collections and big DVD collections. And they like, yo, I'm like, yo, I'm impressed. You know what I mean? I'm impressed. I'm 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 gonna treat this, you know, I'm gonna become addicted to learning. And as soon as we weaned ourselves off of what is known as mainstream media, bro, here these niggas come with MySpace. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, what the fuck? Here these niggas come with MySpace. And then after MySpace, because MySpace was lit. I was lit on MySpace. And to be honest with you, MySpace was a little more further ahead than what Facebook is, because nigga, we were coding. You had to learn how to code. My page was, my wallpaper was lit. I had King Tut, and the nigga was moving. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I had the playlist with the music. I had a playlist of music come on my page. Then I had sounds for you. We had the shit exploding. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. It was lights, camera, action. And that was the grand stage. And then YouTube came. And then Facebook took over. And then Instagram rolled out, my nigga. And in between all of that, YouTube made a comeback because, oh yeah, Blog Talk came. Because people don't know there's a Blog Talk era. There's a whole era called Blog Talk era where the YouTube shit wasn't really popping. Everybody who was popping and everybody who was making moves and the whole thing, the undercurrent of the community was going on through Blog Talk Radio, which is theoretically the first podcast. It's podcast now. They call it podcast, but it was Blog Talk Radio. Well, it is, Blog Talk Radio is a podcast, but it's almost like niggas call all video YouTube, right? They be like, yo, I seen you on a YouTube. I'm like, no, nigga, you saw me on a DVD in your house. You know what I'm talking about? You saw me on Vimeo, nigga. You saw me on Facebook Live. You saw me on Instagram, but you say I saw you on YouTube. Because YouTube is synonymous with videos. The same thing that Blog Talk is synonymous with podcasts. Same thing. We had the chat rooms just like this. The chat room was lit. Niggas would have 1,000 some. I had more people on Blog Talk on our Tuesday and Friday shows than I got on these YouTube channels. You dig? But it was lit, you know. And the thing about podcasts, and we didn't emphasize our image on podcasts, because nigga, you're on a radio show. You just hearing me like you're listening to me right now. But I wouldn't have that crazy ass picture that they got of me right there. Oh, I guess I'm a fucking let me see. I'm Roman Israel for Halloween today. So the podcast world was very interesting. It wasn't about looking at the image. It was about the information. Remember, you're not looking at anybody building. You're not, oh, I love the way that this man talks, or, oh, I like what he's wearing, or, oh, I wonder what kind of haircut this brother has, or what brand is that brother's shirt? You know, all of the things that you become aware of when video is introduced, right? And I'm just saying all around to all of the video. You know, I watch videos. I'm encapsulated by everything: the video, the audio, the visuals, the background, the colors, everything. But when you're listening to a podcast, you don't have to worry about all of these distractions. You're getting right to it. That's why if you listen to some of these Blog Talk radio shows, there's no YouTube shows that come on. There's no streaming shows that none of the channels do. None of them. They compare to the level of information, the concentrated level of information. I haven't seen many people go past that in the YouTube world. And it's been years of YouTube videos, my nigga. It's millions of fucking hours of YouTube. And I'm not necessarily talking about the videos that they've uploaded, like not the lectures, the classics from Bobby and Phil and all of them that niggas uploaded. No, I'm talking about straight live stream shows where everybody got a live stream show. Everybody have these online shows and whatnot, but it does not compare to the level of consciousness that the master teachers were delivering when they were on those podcasts. That's a fact. And this was almost 10 years ago. You know what I'm talking about? This, yeah, we definitely used to have the best guests. And I'm not just talking about, look, Nikki Love's show was lit. This is where Onk started. It was Onk and Nikki Love, Onk from the Amin Ra Squad, and then he had his own show when they broke off from each other, and he formed the Amin Ra Squad. Noble and Pooh had a show that was lit. A Rashid had a show that was lit. Brother Rich, the first time I even did a co-hosting gig, it was with Bobby Hemmett, and Brother Rich brought me in. Yo, Red, you wanna co-host this show with me tonight? I'm like, really, bro? Because that was like an honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, that was an honor to be on a blog talk radio as a host. Remember, we're talking about the earliest stages of new media. This is the earliest stages of new media. So this was like you were cutting edge, right? You knew that you were. I knew that I was a part of something that was fucking huge. Yeah, Underground Railroad. Yeah, the Cows, COWS. That show, they used to have, I believe they used to have Neely Fuller on that. Underground Railroad with Brother Krish. Sinetta had it buzzing. He had a show, Know the Ledge Radio. That's me and Blue show. That's legendary. That was one of the best shows ever on Blog Talk. That's a fact. And there was a few others. I see the Duke of Tears with the Super Rule Radio. You know, that was fire. Always, that was fire. There was a few shows, a few other shows, but for the most part, it was Know the Ledge Radio. I see the Duke of Tears. Griffin Zaza had their thing. Yeah, Griffin Zaza was popping towards the end. They came and popped it off. And every single conscious teacher who you know right now, damn near every single one of them. It changed with Young Pharaoh when he started popping off of Facebook, but prior to that, damn, and yeah, said he popped off of YouTube as well, but during that time, every single well-known teacher, even the ones that y'all forgot about, that y'all don't even speak of to these days, they was all coming through Blog Talk Radio. You know what I'm talking about? Oh yeah, you said you found us on UGR? Yeah. But Brother Richard's show, UGR, you talking about the Blog Talk show or you talking about the YouTube channel? Because that's two completely different things. You dig? That's two different things. Yeah. But I co-hosted a Bobby Hemmett show with Brother Rich. And nigga, that was a thug holiday, bro. Do you know what that meant to me? You know what I'm saying? Do you know what that meant to me, bro? Like I was a legend in my own mind. Bobby is a legend. And to interview and to be a part of a interview with him, that was big to me at that time. So we did that. I got that out the way. Then Nikki Love, she gave me the opportunity to do a show where I was basically I was presenting a lecture, and I did a classic lecture on her show called From Super Rules to Supermen, and I bodied that shit. Phil Valentine came on with me. We went in, we bodied that, and that was the beginning of my Blog Talk Radio career. I never turned back after that. Me and Blue Pill launched Know the Ledge Radio January 8th, 2010. And we almost coming on 10-year anniversary coming up on January 8th this year, 2020. And that show that I did with Rich, that was in 2009. It was in 2009. Classic Bobby. This the shit where he said that the tilapia was mixed with human or some shit. I was like, oh shit. What? Nigga, I ate some tilapia after that. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't never look at it the same. I never touched that shit. Only when I got weak. But yeah, One Up on the Frequency. Oh yeah, that was with Blue Pill. That was like mad long before that. Like I tell y'all, Blue Pill was doing this before me. Blue Pill was instrumental in this formation of a lot of things. He has a big part, and it's not, my part doesn't, it's not the same part. He did his work is a little more archival than mine, you know. Oh, you found us on your brother Rich's YouTube channel. Well, goddamn it, where you was at before that? You know, where you was at? But I get it. I understand. I understand. When I traveled America, moving around, I understand how this conscious shit is set up. Like there's some people in certain shows that in certain cities, I mean, there's certain people that live in certain cities and states where they never heard of certain teachers, like at all. I'm like, damn, you never heard of Son? They like, who's that? I'm like, shit. When did you get on the train, my nigga? When did you hop on the ship? You know what I'm saying? How you don't know about this person? But I get it. I'm you see, I'm utilizing my where I'm at onto other people. Brother said he listened to every show that we've ever done on Blog Talk Radio. Bitcoin banger. That's almost 700 shows. You a legend if you heard every single show. Even though, yeah, we did a 6-hour Blog Talk show before with Polite and Inky. I remember that shit. 6 hours. When I say this shit was fire, I'm talking about every single, keep in mind, every single guest from Umar to Sabi, we got Mass Sabi shows, to Dr. Delbert Blair, everybody, to Taj Tariq Bey, to Phil Valentine. We got like 30 Phil Valentine shows. We got 7 Sabi shows. Brother Polite, early Polite, even before he was debating. We got about 40 of Polite episodes. We got AA, classic AA Rashid. We got about 60 AAs. Everybody was on a top game, fam. We got Francis. Yeah, we did a fire one with Francis Cress Wilson. We did a fire one with Shahrazad Ali. We did a fire one with Zaza. You know, we got some classics, fam. We got some classics, bro. You know what I'm saying? We put some and I promise you, this shit came together like magic, bro. We got some Dick Gregory's, y'all, with me and Blue Pill. See, y'all get to hear us talking. You dig? You gotta remember, you're not familiar with Red and Blue as journalists. You're not familiar with Red and Blue with as quote unquote reporters. That's not, you might not be familiar with us as interviewers. I'm not the best interviewer. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't really like interviewing, too tough. Blue has a journalist major in college. That's his shit. You know, I like to talk. I'm a teacher. You know what I'm talking about? Let me, nigga, let me teach. I'll build with you, but I'm not the best interviewer. That was his thing. And he would, we played off of our energies. And like I said, if you hear the show, you'll see the growth. There's a lot of growth that has taken place. You know, the 11:11 meditation. Oh my goodness. 11:11. We have the 11:11 meditation every 11, because all our shows started at 9 p.m. All our shows started on time. Not every single one of them. There may have been 10 or 12 that were off. But everything started. Oh yeah, the Rick Smith interview was fire. And we had the bomb, the explosions. Shout out to Black Dot. Black Dot got the explosion on his podcast now. We had that bomb, and we had the machine, aka we had the choppers. You spit some fire, nigga, you getting bombs in it and choppers. We were, it was just different. It was different. It was different. Somebody said whatever happened to Bobby Hemmett. Nothing happened to Bobby Hemmett. Bobby Hemmett is with his wife chilling. Bobby Hemmett done fed you niggas a full course meal. So Bobby Hemmett fell back. You dig? Bobby Hemmett fell back. I put it in cause somebody put my Cash App in the chat room. The sister's asking about it. But yeah, I would highly encourage the family to go and listen to the archives. It's still on Blog Talk Radio. Oh yeah, the Mooney twins. Whew. Paul Mooney's twins. They came on doing a 1-2 thing, taking a whole lot of money from the platform. You know what I mean? But I hope, they said that they was gonna help people get their money, so I hope that's what they did. I got some classic Yafa Bey, classic Hakeem Bey, classic Ras Mariah Bey, classic Taj Tariq Bey. Fire. Fire, yo. Super fire. So, of course, with the 10-year anniversary coming up, we're going to have to commemorate that milestone, because to still be relevant and to still be on top of your A game and to still be growing, I'm still growing. I'm still learning. You dig? I'm going to be learning until I check out. You know what I'm saying? If I stop learning, y'all niggas remind me. But I'm gonna learn until the last day. My brain will continue to grow. It will continue to evolve. Oh yeah, the Peter Moon interview on KTL Radio. Fire. Shout out to Peter Moon, wherever he's about. How do I feel about Kanye's new album? I said it's a frisbee. You know what I'm talking about? So, and to see where the music has come to, because I was listening to old music, we was fire back then. You know what I'm talking about? We had more fire Fridays. Niggas was freestyling. We had bars. Niggas had bars back then. But to see where we've evolved to after meeting Kambada, it's definitely an improvement. You know what I mean? It's definitely been growth. But niggas came in with that. We came in on that conscious God hop wave all the way back then. I'm not even gonna hold you niggas. 09 with the return of the Super Hay Rules and the Secret Chiefs, the shit that we was doing. Yeah, Dreams with A.A. Rashid. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Mine was putting in work. Mine was putting in work. And this is way before Scorpion King. Scorpion King came so much later on down the line. Scorpion King came in 2016. We was putting shit out from 09. You dig? We was putting things out from 09. But as with today, as with back in the days, it's the same thing today. If I had the time to focus on a musical career, if I had the time to focus on music only, if I had time to focus on bars, my nigga, sitting around and writing, if I had time to focus on production, oh my goodness. Brother man, I would be a monster. You know what I'm talking about? I would be a beast. Oh yeah, we're gonna remaster Scorpion King, and then we're gonna put it on Tidal and all of these other places. I don't want to go with the lo-fi sound, especially now that I'm listening to these streaming services. I've subscribed to a few of them, and I've basically conformed to the new model of the music industry. And I understand that it's about sound. It's about you have to have quality, master quality audio. So all of the engineers and all of the master audio technicians, yeah, holla at me. Yeah, link up with your boy. You know what I'm talking about? Link up with your peoples. Because that's a vibe that we could begin to work in the future to create riches. We could create masterpieces. We could create masterful products to give to the world, to sell to the world, to merch to the world, to put out there to the world, whatever you want to do. But I overstand and understand. And I always stress engineers, and I always stress those of us who are the scientists amongst us. I always appeal to the scientists, the arts and the sciences. But I stress the importance of the coders, the engineers, the producers, those who can produce, those who can produce. You are very important in this day, and we live in a new age. We live in a new era. We have to speak like that. Hit me on my email, whoever wants to link me up. All right, hit me on an email. I'm not signed into the chat room, so if anybody knows my email, put it in the chat room. It's the Mart MART number 125, the letter TH at Gmail. All right, the Mart 125th at Gmail. That's the store. That's the mall, the abandoned mall that we stand in front of. That for 20 some odd years we've been standing. Not just me, because I ain't been out there for 20 some odd years. I might have been out there for about 14. But prior to me, Sarnetta was out there, and the Felders, Jack Felder and Nova Felder, and that mall has been closed down. It's called the Mart 125. You could pull it up on YouTube and watch the documentary. That was a bastion of black wealth. That was a bastion of black ingenuity. That was a bastion of black entrepreneurship right there in Harlem. Okay, I believe Dapper Dan even had a store inside of the Mart 125th. I was in Dapper Dan's studio yesterday for 4 hours. 4 hours on guard with my brother Ben Gordon, who's an ex-basketball player from the NBA. All of my NBA stands out there. Yeah, Ben Gordon on the frequency. You know what I'm talking about? Very sharp, very, very knowledgeable brother who is seeking more knowledge. Okay? Some of us go through crises, but we've said it before. In crisis, you meet ISIS. What do you mean by that? In crisis, you meet ISIS. You understand? It's in your crisis, my nigga, do you have your breakthroughs. Not sitting around playing with yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Not sitting around playing with yourself. I got 666 watching right now. I'm a fucking legend. You know what I mean? Not sitting on Halloween. What's fucking with that? We got 666 watching. The same thing that I said on the Imagination song with Cambada. I'm gonna have to close out with that. You know. Yeah. Somebody said your face is frozen. Yeah, I know my face is frozen. Make sure that your face don't look like this when you take a hit of whatever you're going to hit later on. You dig? You know? Yeah, Ben Gordon was nice. So in our crisis, we get to meet ISIS. So it's when people hit certain points, when people go through certain kind of quote unquote tests. You know what I'm talking about? When people go through certain kind of tests, when they get their will tested, or when they hit rock bottom, or when they quote unquote, have some kind of tragedy or some kind of crisis, there's breakthroughs in that. Yeah, I know Ben Gordon could hoop. You know what I'm talking about? He could still hoop. He could still hoop. But that man is an asset. You know what I'm talking about? My son, he's into basketball. That's his life. So, that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm cool to my son when I come around with NBA players and whatnot. He likes shit like that. So nothing makes me more happy than to look cool in front of my son's eyes. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure as parents y'all can relate. You might have been cool all your life. You might have been that nigga all your life. You might have been that guy or that girl. You might have been it. You might have been the one. You know what I'm saying? You might have had everybody's attention on you. But when you have them children, all that shit go out the window because they take the motherfucking spotlight and they're like, yo, that shit is not cool. You like, God damn it. Well, what's cool then? You know what I mean? And you know when when your children tell you that whatever the fuck you doing is cool, then you that nigga. That's one of the best feelings in the world. To pass the cool test with your children. Because they got they could pull triggers, okay? They're the ones with the motherfucking sword that you could fall on. So if they say that shit is whack, then you really gonna be like, nigga, is this shit whack? Oh, my son thinks I'm a cornball sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. He be like, nigga, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? He says I don't got no bars, all kind of stuff. But it's just, you know, it's playful, and it allows me to show off a little. It allows me to humble myself. You know, it allows me to humble myself. You know, because niggas will be running around all kind of, you know, with your head all up your ass, or you know, you could be one of these highfalutin niggas, and sometimes it's gonna take your children to bring you back to earth. Like, you doing too much, little nigga. Sit down. You know? These children of today are not the children of yesterday, nigga. I wasn't like that with my father. I be asking my father, nigga, could we get away with shit like that when we was his age? He be like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. He was like, I would smack your face off if you said the shit that this nigga's saying right now to you. I'm like, God damn, shit, times done changed. You know what I mean? But look, me and this little nigga listen to the same music. Me and my father didn't listen to the same music. He was listening to Coltrane. I was listening to Soul Train. This shit was different. You know what I'm talking about? I had to sneak to listen to rap. This little nigga, he'll pull out his phone and the speaker, and he'll put on the most mumblest rap. And you know, he don't care. He like, what's up? So I'm like, yeah, this is different. These little niggas is different because they don't look at grandparents the same way that we looked at grandparents. Okay? They don't look at it the same. They don't feel they not impressed. They like, what? Excuse me? Nah, I'm good. I'm not going to church. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, these little children, these little mumble rap little niggas, they have a different kind of algorithm. The digital children are working off of a different kind of algorithm, bro. Could you tell your grandmama that you're not going to church? I'm hearing these little niggas like, they're like, nah, I ain't going to church. Fuck out of here. Like, I'm good. Jesus is not real. Like, they're saying it. They're not thinking it. They're saying the shit. I'm like, wow. These little niggas is, you know, they on a different time. They're on a different time. We could speculate about the deterioration of the quote unquote, you know, the old culture, how it went out the window. I have my theories, and I'm sure everybody else has theirs. You know, there's an esoteric meaning to it, and there's also a mundane meaning to it, and there's also a real dark meaning behind all of this shit. You know, why these generations are not the same. You said that they're woke. Yeah, they woke to something. But yeah, somebody in the chat room said post-crack era. When those amongst you that are out there begin to catalog these eras and whatnot, and you begin to catalog the decades, and you begin to compartmentalize these time eras or these epochs, I highly suggest, and it's not just me suggesting it, I'm sure that anybody who grew up through this era, they'll want you to break up the different eras between the coke era, no, the dope era, right? The dope era and the post-crack era. These are two instrumental periods in time in our culture in our society, in our nation, and in our neighborhoods, especially those of us in North America. Post-crack era is a different epoch or a different age. Okay? The dark meaning of why these children and things are not what it used to be, I would attribute that the dark meaning would fit into the post-crack era criteria to speak about the horrors of the crack era, the way that the crack era diminished, deteriorated, and ripped at the fabric of black society on a cosmic level, not on a national, not on a nationwide scale, not from niggas' neighborhoods, on a cosmic level. There was a cosmic rift, or there was a fracture that took place during that time because of the atrocities that we committed against each other. Okay? More so than the social programs like welfare, more so than the social programs like, the whole keep the black man out the house. Well, the drugs, I was going to say that more so than all of those events or factors, the most detrimental factor, I would say, would be the drugs. Mainly and mostly heroin, or what they call doogie, that horse, King Heron, smack, dog food. There are many names for it. But that one drug and cooked crack cocaine. Not cocaine, nigga. Not cocaina. Not that shit. I'm not talking about the white girl. I'm not talking about that powder. You understand? I'm talking about rock, hard, ready rock cocaine and that heroin. That Montega, nigga. It was over after that. That was a combination that tapped the jaw of the black god and put his ass in a shallow grave with the motherfucking Hiram Abiff in them. You know what I mean? That little rock was the motherfucking rock that knocked Goliath down. And David was Ronald Reagan. We ain't been the same since. Little niggas will never look at older people the same sense, bro. When you started seeing grandmothers and grandfathers, elders, these are older men, right? These are older men buying prostitutes, young black women, young girls who they could have never had sexual relationships with if it weren't the fact that they was crackheads. Niggas didn't stand a chance. But now they could buy some box for $5. Now they could buy some box for $2. Yeah, of course the CIA is to blame. Of course this is a social program, and the drugs are social programs. They of the highest degree. They are of a nefarious they're tied to all kind of nefarious meanings and protocols and whatnot. You dig? It was all a part of a plan. There was a combinations of things. There was a combo. Niggas got hit with a Mortal Kombat finish him fatality combo. It was a whole bunch of shit that hit people upside the head. But what we're saying is this. If I were to take away one of the plagues, because we got hit with a bunch of plagues, AIDS, We got hit with motherfucking integration. We got hit with a whole bunch of things. Welfare. We got hit with the drugs. We got hit with the prison complex industry and all of that. If they were to say, yo, Red, you get a chance to take one of those away. Yeah, we got hit with the public school system. If they was like, yo, Red, you got a chance to take one of the scourges away, one of the spells away, I would say, nigga, drugs. Because many things beget from that. That help boost the prison population. That help increase the murder count. That help put certain people in situations where they were not excelling in school, outside of school. That put a whole bunch of people in their neighborhoods under what we know as, threat and duress. That led people to taking more drugs. How the fuck you gonna live in a neighborhood and start smoking crack in 2018? And you seen what the fuck it did from the 80s. Nigga, they got old crack. They got niggas that's just trying out crack recently. Like they didn't see Pookie in New Jack. So imagine if I say I'm gonna take all of that back, right? And the people who you saw who used to be on the covers of the Jet magazine, Ebony magazine, Essence magazine, when we had that soul glow. If I'd say I'm gonna take back the crack and the heroin and that glow returns to our people, right? You see the Harlem that Bumpy Johnson saw before he went to Alcatraz, where everybody was dressed up real clean and they was real spliffy and they had real money. You know what I'm talking about? Even though they had conks and whatnot, they was super clean, super spliffy, wild drippy, and they didn't look like fucking zombies. They didn't look like monsters. They didn't look like the way that they looked when they became addicts and whatnot. They didn't look half dead. Yeah, a nigga could be on welfare. Yeah, a nigga could be going to school where they lie to him. Yeah, a nigga could be doing all of that stuff. But at least he don't look like a fucking monster. At least he don't look like a zombie. Imagine what that did to the psyches of newborn children looking up at shit like that. Like I said, I was born in the Bronx. I saw the buildings burnings when I was a baby. You know what I'm talking about? Like how the Joker was on them. I used to go up and down them long ass stairs and all of that the Joker was running down. I saw the buildings burning, my nigga. I saw the gangs of New York. Niggas was running around mad deep. I saw poverty, third world poverty. I was born in the Bronx in 75, my nigga. It don't look like what it looked like now. That was the epitome of New York at its burnt down, most fucking desolate state. That's what I was seeing in my vortex, and that's how my brain was forming, based off of the society, based off of the environment that I was basically born into. But my mother did a beautiful thing when we were 5 years old. She took us outside of Harlem in the Bronx, right? I never seen, nigga, you want to talk about roaches in the Bronx and in Harlem? I don't know where all the roaches went, but they was there in the 80s. And she did one of the most dynamic things to help develop me and my brother and KT, who was being born. She took us out of the Bronx and out of Harlem, and she brought us to St. Croix, Virgin Islands, my nigga. Okay? And I got to see paradise. I'm 5 years old, and I'm like, yo, I'm looking at fish that are every color of the rainbow, swimming all around my feet. Like, I still remember that to this day. Nigga, I'm walking barefoot into the mountains, bro. I'm climbing trees. Niggas is cracking coconuts. I'm meeting Dr. Sabi. I'm seeing people get healed. I'm taking herbs and whatnot, even though the shit was wild bitter. But I'm like, yo, this ain't the Bronx. This shit different. There's a different part of the world. There's a different way to live other than the shit that I was growing up watching as a young jitney, a youth. And I'm not saying that we lived in poverty, because it wasn't, my father has never been impoverished. Like, let's be clear. You know what I mean? He handled his motherfucking business. You know, we was always plush. It was always luxury, and he didn't sell no drugs. He's a professor to this day. You know? But we lived in New York. So regardless of the fact that we were always surrounded by love and we were protected, and even like, well, to be honest with you, when I saw the burning buildings, it wasn't like our building was burning. You know, we lived in a nice building. We lived in a nice building. You know what I'm saying? Our shit was together. You know what I'm talking about? My daddy's shit was together. You know, it wasn't like he was fucking up and whatnot. And but I saw the concrete jungle, my niggas. Like, I was riding on a train. It was New York. New York was scary. It was dark. It looked like the Gotham City that you seen in the Joker movie. That's how that shit looked. To be honest with you, it was hundreds more people in the street than you see today. If any of y'all visit New York and you like, oh, this shit is crowded, nigga, imagine that times, because they saying that there's more people in New York. They're lying. It was more people back then, because people used to stand in the streets. I remember going down blocks, and it took me like 40 minutes to get down the block because the blocks were so crowded with people. It was just so many people outside. Like I said, this is before crack. Crack it brought a fucking cloud. It brought a dark cloud. It brought a cloud over our world. It was already fucking dark. It already had some shit going on. Like I said, poverty was the dark cloud that I remember. Roaches, dilapidated buildings, walking and smelling, just the city not smelling right. Like when buildings is fucking abandoned, they got that smell, that dead smell. I remember that heavy in Harlem, right? But the people looked like they had halos on them. The black people looked like they was glowing in the sun. As a baby, I remember that. I remember looking at women and being in awe. I'm only like 4 years old. Being in awe of their beauty. They're in awe of the fact that we're twins. I remember seeing beauty all around me. I remember butterflies, ladybugs, lightning bugs. You know what I'm saying? I remember shit like that. Caterpillars. I remember the trees look greener. Right? I remember all that. But I also remember them arsons. I also remember niggas look real scary. You know what I mean? I remember the fact that it was real noisy and loud, and it was always some commotion. Everybody was lit. Everybody was lit. Everybody was moving fast. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like niggas was just laying around. But when we went to St. Croix, that opened up my eyes to a bigger world. It opened up my eyes to the Caribbean. Because remember, the Caribbean, there was a different culture. They had different superstitions. Them niggas had different scary stories. They had different, all kind of shit. They just moved a little bit different. And the money that we had in New York was bigger out there. So you go out there with $1, my nigga, you was lit for a minute. Like, you was lit. As a young dude, whew. So I definitely thank my moms for that experience, because it opened up my eyes as a youth. In my developmental years, remember, developmental years 1 to 7, right? When they should be being downloaded with a lot of different things, where they should see different parts of the world before they turn 7, because this is the time that they're in theta mode. Their brain is soaking up everything. It's remember everything. This is where trauma occurs. So you have to be wild protective of the babies during these very what's the word? These are important years, 0 to 7. These are instrumental years, 0 to 7. You dig? So I'm proposing that our community begin to focus on rites of passages, right? Because these teenagers are, these young ones, right? They don't have a fucking rites of passage. Their rites of passage is to go slide on the ops and blow their brains out. Their rites of passage is to go run out of the mall or have a mall fight. Their rites of passage, you know, I mean, it's some urban jungle, urban America street shit. You know, it's the shit that we grew up on. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, you don't want to know what our rites of passage was. You don't know what our rites of passage was, some savage shit. Like, we had to do savageness. So these children that are coming up, many of us are parents. I see all of y'all posting y'all children on social medias. You know, we should be developing rites of passages for these young ones. We should be developing after school programmings for these young ones. We should be developing daycare centers for these young ones, because in these daycare centers, in these after school centers, in these quote unquote workshops, or these maker, we need to have more maker and creative spaces and whatnot, where we can allow these young ones to basically flourish by nourishing their minds with technology, with science, and make it look cool. You mean to tell me that we're not even teaching our children how to operate the 3D printer? Do you know the power of the 3D printer in this society, or in this reality that we exist in, and what it will, and what 3D printers are doing to the minds, or how it is allowing the developing mind of these young prodigies and whatnot to basically form a mentality of limitless visionary thinking? What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is this. With a 3D printer machine, I could be 8 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, 13, 14, and I could say, yo, I thought about some shit in my mind. I went online, or I went on my computer, and I basically designed it in one of these programs, like a 3D designing program, or I created a concept. I have a concept, and I go to Fiverr, or I go basically hire a graphic artist or anybody out there who basically has the skill set to help me bring my idea to life. And I could use a 3D printer to create a motherfucking prototype of an idea that I woke up with in the morning. Let's say that I wake up and I'm in theta mode, right? You know, when you just wake up and you're in theta and your mind is thinking of all of these things and you're solving all of these issues, and you know, you're being very innovative in your mind and your brain waves and whatnot, and you're on a different level, you're on a different wave before you go back into that sluggish ruggish, right? Then you like, yo, I came up with some crazy shit, yo. You know what I mean? Like, I came up with a motherfucking flower of life mixed with some other things. And then you get on your computer during that day, and by the end of the day, you can have a 3D printed model of an idea, of a conceptualized prototype of an idea that you woke up with that day. Nigga, that's revolutionary, bro. That's evolutionary. That is, bro, that's mind blowing. That's mind-blowing. You were not able to do that 10 years ago. That wasn't possible. You had to send your shit out to China. You know how many fucking things that you had to go through just to make a prototype? You could make a prototype off your goddamn 3D printer. So there's so much technology. I could get into it. We could talk about what virtual is about to do with the AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, with the halogens and with the Oculus Rift and whatnot. All of these things, 7D, not 4D, not 3D, nigga, 7D and 9D. They going into 9-dimensional shit. You got laser printing. You got if you into clothing and apparel, you have the vinyl cutting, direct to print, all of these things that are coming around, laser printing, all of this shit. Like the shit is out of here. And why don't I have a teenager, y'all? My son is 12. You know, he's becoming a young adult and I'm seeing the change. So what I'm noticing in these children is that you have to speak their language. You have to speak their language. Not all of them is on some futuristic technology shit, right? Some of them is into trap rap. Some of them is into sports. Some of them is into Fortnite. But nigga, Fortnite is a video game. Trap rap is music. Sports, that's some shit that you grew up knowing. Or you know other people who know about it. So if you know that the children are into all of these things, why aren't we opening up more gyms, right? Why aren't we using our influence to say to some of these basketball players and people who have the skills, yo, come and teach our children. We want you to be the coach. We'll teach, because I got some shit going on where I got some people who know something and I know something. They want to know something from me. I want to know something for them. So we bartering. You know what I'm talking about? You teach my son basketball, I teach you about metaphysics. That's how we work it out. You're a professional. So that's how that shit works. You're going to get him on a skill level that you're on. So my thing is, we could be doing so much more for these babies in real time, not waiting for nobody to give us nothing, not asking nobody for shit, building some shit up, walking into some shit that's probably already built, and being owners and being controllers of the destiny of these babies. I promise you, if you were to open up a creator space and you were to put 3D printer machines in there and you were to allow these children to come in there and to get on a computer and to learn how to code and to basically, and you had virtual reality glasses and whatnot, and you had them in there, virtual reality, you know, they got the virtual reality rooms where you could do escape rooms, or you could do basically laser tag, all of these things to take these children into a whole nother zone. And then you teach the children how to create it on their own. You're not going to get all of them, but even if you get one of them, you know, then you may have given birth to the next Elon Musk, since he means so much to our people. You know, we just use him as an example. It's so many industries that are growing out of the petri dish of technology, culture. I mean, it's the shit is endless. It's endless. So the solutions are endless. It's nothing to complain about. It's nothing. We don't need to play dumb anymore. It's nothing to walk around. What's next? What do we do, brother? What's the answer? What's the solution? No, nigga, shut up. Sit down. You know what I'm talking about? Have a CMOS. Calm down. You know, calm down. Because when you acting like that, sound like you about to get your knee pads out. You know what I mean? Calm down. We need to take a breath, take a deep breath and figure this shit out together. I don't care if you're from Botswana I don't give a fuck if you're from Bangladesh, my nigga. I don't care where you from. If you got what I need to bring a solution forward, I'm gonna utilize you. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna utilize you. You're to be utilized. Cause if you niggas was looking for a job, they're gonna utilize your ass and you wanna be utilized, right? Don't you want the Bangladesh to hire you? Don't you want a Pakistani to pay attention to your resume? So if the people are skilled, we're gonna use them to the best of our abilities and our advantages because that's how you take ownership. That's how you take on. That's how you boss up, my nigga. That's how they doing it on you. Yeah, I spoke about Byron Allen. And go talk to Byron. He'll tell you the same thing. You think Byron is caught up on only building and making moves and creating wealth with people who walk and talk like a Byron? I don't think so. I think that he got as far as he got by realizing that everybody's resourceful. Everybody's resourceful. The problem with our people is, we mix business with pleasure. We want to bring people into our house and lay them down in our beds and whatnot. No, utilize people for what they're good at and keep it schmoving. Give them their shmoney and keep it moving. You know what I'm talking about? Stop making this shit personal. Have I seen Harriet Tubman movie? At all, and I'm not gonna see it. You know what I'm talking about? I read a review for the shit. I'm not gonna see it. There's a white savior in the movie. They got her killing a black bounty hunter, and once again, they snuck in the white savior complex, and I'm not feeling that. So I'm good. You know? That shit look like trash. That shit look trashy. And then we bring people around us who got skill sets, who could do shit that we could pay them to do. And then we start exalting these people like they're the fucking Mach D or something. No, nigga. If you know how to build apps, build the shit. And I'll pay your motherfucking bill and keep it moving. I'm not holding you up like you's greater than me or nothing. No, nigga, you know how to build apps. You're from Bangladesh. That's what you niggas do. You know what I'm saying? So build this app, Punjabi. Let's go and eat some motherfucking samosas and then go about your business. You know what I'm saying? I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. That's what they're doing to you. They're like, come here, nigga. Let me, mostly, come here, niggers. Come to work with your mini dress on, and we're gonna have you over there, filing the cabinet and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And then, nigga, you go home. We pay you, you go home. You know what I'm saying? You look how the Koreans be looking, how they use people to work in their hair salons to sell their wigs and their products. They pay them, and then they go home. You know? Yeah. You know how many people I done found on Fiverr who they not black, but they did the motherfucking job that they said that they was gonna do, and them niggas only wanted $5, and they're not on crack. You know what I'm saying? It's not a $5 crackhead type of thing. Nigga, it's Fiverr. It's a nigga in Bangladesh where $5 means something. And he's gonna design some shit for me for $5. You dig? And I'm good. I'm Gucci with that. That's capitalism. I'm gonna work this system and I'm gonna find a way. So it is what it is, but We have big moves to make. Big drip. I fell in love with a lit. We got big moves to make. So let's just do it. It's nothing to talk about. Byron Allen told you niggas to burn your knee pads and go and get it. He said there's billions out there waiting for us. Billions. Right? And I believe him. I think that there's trillions out there for us. You know what I'm saying? I think it's trillions. I think if we look hard enough, we could find trillions. Billions ain't enough. It's too many of us for just billions out there. It's trillions out there waiting. So, I don't know about you, but, you know, I'm ready to get this thing. Kanye said America's for sale. Shit. Him and a whole bunch of other people said that. And they are absolutely correct. You know? They tell no lies. They tell no lies. You know, Byron Allen made some excellent points. You could buy shares in America. You damn right. You could buy shares in America, the corporation, the business. Yeah, you could get your shares, my friend. Everything's for sale. You know, everything's for sale, and I hope that we understand, and I hope we get it. You know, I hope we figure this shit out. You dig? I hope we figure it out. Take our emotions completely out of this thing and go strictly for the tunnel vision. You know, go strictly for the tunnel vision. So, I'm gonna do this though because it's getting late and I still am in study mode. You know, I still am studying, getting ready for this lecture on Sunday in Brooklyn. Ascension 2020.eventbrite.com. No, 2020 Ascension Conference.eventbrite.com. If you want to get the live stream. Red Pill, Blue Pill, Shri Master Gano Grills, and headliner Billy Carson. Ascension 2020 Conference. Musical performance by Cambada. Special guest Red and Blue Pill on Last Breath. So yeah. Holla at your peoples. You dig? Holla at your peoples. Pull up on us in Brooklyn. I would love to meet anybody, each and every one of y'all on this live tonight. You know what I'm saying? So we could build and chop it up. Cause of course there's so many things that can be said, but can't be said on YouTube. You understand? There's but so many things that I can say. So, you know, live and direct is a whole. It's even more different. But we're gonna have all of the merch. Kings County will be there. Brother Blue Pill will be there with Cosmic Kale, his food, Gold Water. We'll have the Twin album on deck, signing that, and some other things. You dig? So I look forward to meeting the family on Sunday at St. Francis's College, Brooklyn, New York, 2 p.m. until I think like 9. And KT the arts degree will be there as well, along with Mama Pill and a whole bunch of people. The community will be there. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, US live stream. You sign up for the live stream. That's right. Brother Rich said return his book. Yeah, I got his book. I'm going in on that. I got his book. I'll bring that with me. Rudy Ray Moore. Yeah, I heard Tariq Nasheed. He said that Rudy Ray Moore was allegedly a LBGT or gay. I wouldn't put that past him, you know. I wouldn't put that past them. When I see Rudy Ray Moore, Dolomite, when you see the real life Dolomite, you could look at him and see, all right, he might, the same way that you could look at Richard Pryor and be like, okay, I could see it. If it were true, I could see it. Like Paul Mooney, if it were true, I could see it. You dig? So if it were true about Dolomite being gay, I could see it. Do I believe the story? I don't know. Yes, rest in peace, John Witherspoon. Got to coordinate. You know, Pops has made transition. That was a hard one right there. I don't know if they finished filming last Friday. I don't know if they finished filming the new season of the Boondocks. But I know that John Witherspoon had his motherfucking thumb in a lot of oatmeal. You know, he had his hand on the pulse of a lot of projects. And he will be sorely missed. You know, Pops was a legend. You know, that's everybody's Pops right there. You dig? And just like the greats like Robin Harris, Bernie Mac, they didn't finish it, King Simon said. Damn. Yeah. That was so unfortunate, you know. Pops had that kind of spirit where he was immortal. You didn't even think that he would make transition. Oh, he had a YouTube channel? What was his YouTube channel name? I'm gonna go watch some of his videos right now. Yeah, they don't make him like John Witherspoon anymore. Just speaking about the youth, how we touched on it. And, you know, I've been watching this Bumpy Johnson thing on Epics, the Godfather of Harlem. And I'm more so impressed with the pedigree and the stock of black people that we had in the 60s. You know, that's something that I'm impressed with. You dig? I appreciate the kind of man that existed back in those days. You know, I even appreciated the mafia, the codes that they were living by back in those days when they stood for something more than what men stand for today. You know, so brothers like John Witherspoon, you know, that pedigree and that stock, you should cherish them while they're here because that's the last of a dying breed. You want to talk about the last of a dying breed? That's the last of a dying breed. They don't make them like that no more. No disrespect to DC Young Fly, but nigga, that ain't the same. It hit differently. Boot Gang and these niggas that's on the internet doing Instagram comedy. Nah, bro, they're not the same. They don't have the same kind of charisma. No offense. But they not Red Fox. They not Robin Harris. You dig? They not John Witherspoon. It's gonna take them 50 years to become that even. You know, to stand in those shoes. You know? Like Kevin Hart is not cut from the same cloth that our good brother, you know, Bernie Mac is cut from, right? Yeah, he's definitely cut from that Bernie Mac cloth. You know, and that's nothing to take away from DC Young Fly. All of them are legends in their own right. It's just that here it is with Pops and Robin Harris and Bernie Mac. You dig? We're getting to witness, you know, we're getting to eat the stew after the shit sat on the stove and simmered for like 2 days. You know what I'm talking about? All of everything is it just tastes different. It's more, you know, it's more seasoned. So, you know, to even appreciate what some of these younger comedians are going to deliver, we got to wait for them to become more seasoned. They have to have a body of work. They have to develop a catalog. You know what I'm talking about? Don't feed me no niggas that just hopped out of their mama's basement and be like, "Oh, don't compare." I don't want to do the comparisons at that point. Nigga, you gotta be in the game 10 years solid before we even start talking comparisons. You know? You gotta be in this bitch for 10 years consistent. You gotta be working. You know? Somebody said, born with Pluto and Leo generation, were raised by the silent generation. Heck yeah, they're gonna naturally transform how they express. Real talent, true fire talent, Richard Pryor era. Yeah, remember, they couldn't curse in front of their parents. Remember, they couldn't talk about secular shit in the house. Remember, they couldn't necessarily express themselves. So when they got on that stage, they basically let that shit all hang out. What kind of comedy is a little nigga who's on a motherfucking bus at 15 and 16? You know what I mean? He not hiding nothing. These little niggas is letting it all, the little ratchets and whatnot, they just letting it all hang out. So what kind of comedy, what can they bring to the stage that they haven't brought to the whole world, whoever's listening? Like they don't have that kind of restrictions that we had or that the generations before us had. They could curse in front of their grandparents, some of them. The fucking grandparent has a Cardi B wig on, okay? The grandparent is like, oh, and she's like 40. So, you know, how was TK Kirkland, King Simon? You saw him at Caroline's? Yeah, so like I said earlier, I'm gonna have to cut this one, you know, tap out and cut this one off, you know, because I do have to get back to the studies. I have work to do. I'm busy all the way up until the day of the lecture, so you dig. You say you don't like to cuss in front of I don't like cursing in front of elders to this day either. Like not like that. If I'm spitting my talk, if I'm going in, of course I'm passionate, but just to be talking, you know, like when you're on a train and it's wild old people around you and you're like, yeah, fuck these hoes, you know what I'm saying? Bitches know about the kid. Fuck is you talking about? Like I'm not gonna talk like that around my elders. That's traumatizing to them. You know what I'm saying? Even if they around me talking crazy, I be having there's old people that be they mouths is crazy. Like, oh my goodness. The older people of today is not the older people of yesterday. So I be on the train. I love the train because I tell people all the time, you're not gonna witness New York on the highway with these niggas in their road rage. You're not really gonna feel New York. You're gonna feel New York on that motherfucking train, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Like you're gonna feel, you know what I mean? Like you're tapping into the veins of the city. It's almost like you're a needle with that good with that what do they call it? The doogie. And you're tapping into the needle of the veins of the whole city when you get on that motherfucking train, nigga. And you rolling and picture yourself like a blood cell going through the motherfucking train, and all of these crazy ass blood cells is on the train with you. You know what I'm talking about? The blood cell is acting for $5. The blood cell is like, it's showtime. And niggas start dancing and shit, doing acrobatics. It's all kind of crazy shit going on. But guess what I be doing? I be writing my writing pad, coming up with some bars. You know what I'm saying? I be listening to my music like just Thanos snapping everybody sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I gotta, sometimes I get into my Scorpio shit and I just, you know, I just wipe the whole train out. You know what I mean? Or I'm just chilling and I'm admiring the beauty of the city. I'm admiring, you know, the beauty of whatever comes on the train, whatever the sidewalks have to offer. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm filling out white people, you know, because you got to go deeper into the city sometimes just to fill out the white folk and see what kind of frequencies they're on for this week. You know what I mean? So the trains, I don't know. I'm not the same as everybody, but I'm just, you know, I'm an empath, but as a Scorpio, I also have these invisible tentacles to where I could feel everything. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of sense. It's an intuition, you know. And I appreciate the train system, the IRT, because they let me tap into different kind of things. You dig? And I tell you. Oh yeah, the young niggas selling candy with the boxes. Niggas got boxes of fucking candy. Excuse me. I got these candies. I'm trying to, you know, I could be doing other things, you know. So I could be fucking your daughter, but I'm on the train selling candies, you know, trying to get these Jordans. You know what I'm saying? We got Oreos. Oh, you want Oreos? Okay. Yeah, they be on the train, hustling out of Costco's, right? Yeah. The niggas go to motherfucking BJ's and get the goddamn famous Amos, the big box, the 36 packs for like $2. You know what I'm talking about? And they selling that shit again $36. You know, I told them niggas, why don't y'all get some fucking vegan, the seaweed chips? Why don't you niggas get some granola bars? You know what I mean? Why don't you get some motherfucking hummus and you could sell that too? But they didn't listen to me. They didn't listen to me. You could sell some delicatessen to white folks for like $10 and they'll buy that shit. You know what I'm talking about? One of y'all that's listening, one of you acrobatic train niggas that be out there selling everything from Mars to Skittles, you should take this advice and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Go sell these crackers some delicatessen chips, some fucking some pita chips, pita bread chips, you know, all of that weird shit that they into. You'll be surprised. You could have two boxes. You could have a Negro box, and once you cross 59th Street, you could pull out the Whole Foods box and rock the crackers for their bread. Cause they paying. You know what I mean? They paying. You know. Yeah, I buy too. I support them. I buy Cheez-Its and Famous Amos, and then I give them out sometimes. You dig? Yeah, that's a come up. I don't know if y'all know about the candy come up in New York, but yeah, that's a come up. You know what I'm saying? That's a come. They got grown ass men selling candy now, and grown women, and grown women. Yeah, so let me take myself back into the rabbit hole. You dig? I appreciate everybody. Love and light. Oh yeah, I can't forget the drummers. King Simon reminded me about the drummers. It's showtime, family. We got the drummers on deck. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah, we got the drummers on deck. We about to knock out some tunes for y'all, family. You know what I'm saying? This is my brother over here. This is Rambo, and they call me Sambo. And together we're saying Rambo. But it's not drums though. It's a motherfucking bucket upside down, my niggas. It's a paint bucket empty, and these niggas is going in. Big repercussions, like they hitting the big basses and everything. They know how to do the subwoofer. These niggas is nice. Let's not talk about these acrobatic niggas who be doing full Bruce Jenner moves on a train. Not Caitlyn Jenner. These niggas is doing decathlon, pole dancing on a moving train. Where they do that at? You know what I'm talking about? What you niggas smoking? How you did that? You know what I'm saying? This little nigga was on a train dancing, right? It's showtime. So then white people who don't know what the fuck showtime means, they all standing in the way. So the little nigga ran over the white person, right? Was running and shit. The nigga didn't move. He ran over him. Then he fucking jumped. I'm talking about the train is moving mad fast. This little nigga jumped, grabbed the motherfucking the pole, the pole where you stand, and lifted his whole body perpendicular. He was basically holding the pole and his whole body was planking. I was like, what the fuck? What kind of, this nigga is a test tube baby. This ain't some human shit. This nigga is an X-Men. These little niggas, then they got the little niggas who be playing with the hat. And they got the little nigga with no bones. He be mad flexible. And he be playing with the hat. And he be bending his arms and shit. Looking like the nigga from Street Fighter, Zangief. You know the nigga who blew the fire from India? These little niggas is talented. You dig? These little niggas is talented. It's gonna be, yeah, Dollism. These little nigga look like Dollism with the playing with the hat. They do the hat, so they throw the hat and they catch the hat with their elbow, then they flip the hat up, and then they land on their nose, then they flip it from their nose, then it lands on the tip of their foot, then they flip it off the tip of their foot, then he bends his fucking arms around his back and then catches it on his elbow again. I'm like, nigga. This shit feel like I'm in the motherfucking traveling circus or something. Like, where's the elephants at? But then, in my mind, I'm like, these little niggas is millionaires and they don't even know it. It's gonna be a white boy. I promise you. It's gonna be a fucking small hat. That nigga's gonna set up some cameras and he's gonna have these little niggas dancing on the trains. And he's gonna make they're gonna make millions off of them. They're gonna make millions off of their talent because the talent that they have is unsurpassed. I have not seen people demonstrate that kind of acrobatic skills, you know. Yeah, movement arts. They're gonna birth a whole category for these niggas. Somebody said no more culture vultures. Well, look, if that's the case, we gotta go with the bag and we gotta buy their publishing, you know what I'm saying? We gotta lock them in a contract and we gotta basically produce that material and monetize it. Because they're not gonna do it. Obviously, they're not gonna do it, and somebody's gonna do it. That's the only thing. It's not, they trying to get Jordan money on that train. They on the train getting Jordan money and weed money, and they getting a little trick money for the week, you know, for their little thotties and whatnot. They're not thinking millions. It's gonna be a Jewish businessman coming home from work that one of them niggas probably do pull-ups in front of his face while they dancing on the bars and whatnot. And he's gonna be like, yo, I know how to make money off of this shit right here. You know, I know how to make money. I'm a eat off of this shit. Because low key, this is talent. I don't know if these niggas know this. That's what white people say to themselves. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna put them in a movie. Yeah, like they did with tap dancing. Speak on it. Little black boys is out there tap dancing and whatnot. They went and monetized that shit. You know what I'm saying? Had them little niggas in the Cotton Club, on the Chitlin Circuit, and all kind of places. Up in Hollywood, doing the dance routines. They ran with that. They ran with that. Yeah, people are sitting there recording them kids dancing and whatnot. They don't even pay them. They don't even pay them. You know? I don't know if they could duplicate it without them. I don't think that they could duplicate it without them. You know? The shit that they're doing on them trains is some what's her girl? She should come in. What's the sister who got all of the medals? Biles? Simone Biles, I think. What's her name? Yeah, she should put them niggas under her deodorant. And you know, get them on a gymnastic circuit or something, like hood gymnastics. She could make a killing. Yeah, she could make a killing off of that. Because truth be told, they mad acrobatic. They mad acrobatic. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it is though. I'm out of here. You dig? Love and light. Peace to the family. Alright? Y'all stay up. Look, the retrograde started today. Be mindful of that. That's why the screen is frozen. Nigga look like Bruce Bixby. About to change into the Hope. The burn a candle, right? Burn a candle. I got my red Jesus candle I'm about to burn. You know, speak to the ancestors. Let them know that you know that you here. You know what I'm talking about? And let them, you know, just let them know that what you doing. What you know, let them know what it do. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys on Monday to give you a rundown on the lecture. All right. And for everybody who is going to get the live stream, go to Brother Rich's page, Black Magic 363. All of the information is there. Or go to his Black Magic 363 Instagram page, and you'll get everything that you need. All right. And for those who are interested in the November 14th, we're going away November 14th to Mount Shasta to heal, to do a retreat, to heal, to deal with healing modalities, like I was talking about earlier, to further find yourselves. Okay? It's our birthday, but we're bringing the family all along with us to experience an experience, because that's what this shit is about, an experience. Fuck everything else. This is about the experience. This is about you being able to do some shit that you've never done before. Do some shit with people that you've never done it with before. Go places that you've never been before. And to basically let this shit do what it do. That's what this experience, that's what this life is about. That's what we're here doing. We're having experiences where, you know, finding ourselves, you know, traveling down the road, you know, doing all of these things, forming our thoughts. Remember, the brain, neuroplasticity, right? The fact that science has revealed in the last few decades as a result of neuroscience that they lied to us when they said that we stop learning and we stop growing at an adult age, or our brain stops developing at a certain age. That's a bold-faced lie. We never stop learning. Well, our brain never stops forming. It never does. So what we need to do is we need to continue to rewire our brains. What is consciousness? What is this mass awakening that many of us have gone through? What is this? This is about changing your brains, changing neural pathways in your brain, rewiring your brain. So if you could watch a Bobby Hemmett video or whatever video from whatever lecturer blew your motherfucking mind and it started you on these journeys, you saw a Dr. Sabi video and it rewired your thinking about how you saw meat and how you saw basically blood and pus and mucus. You saw Dr. Valentine video, and he helped rewire your mind to see the vampires of consciousness for who they are. There's so many different things that I could talk about, but the power of this information and the potency of the information is the fact that this information, unlike other streams of stimuli, or unlike other streams of consciousness, right? Information changes the perception that you have of the world around you, whether it's good information or bad information. That is basically something that you have to be responsible for. But information, it informs your mind and your mind's eye on how to perceive yourself. So we're tapping in to neurophysics when we listen to this information, because the information is changing the perceptions of how we see the world. So in order for that to occur, your brain has to be altered. Your brain has to be rewired. The way that you perceive reality has to be manipulated and disrupted. And as you continue to go down a rabbit hole, as you continue to drink from this well of water, you will begin to further change. That's why I understand why those who are on the path of changing and receiving mind-altering information, you want your teachers to be perfect. You want your teachers to be blemish-free. You want your teachers to be controversy-free, because it interrupts the quote-unquote mission at hand. When the ego or these individuals, are shown to be fallible, and they're exposed for their fallacies and whatnot, it takes away from the potency of the teaching and what you thought that you believed, because this person rewired your whole mind's eye. This person or this teacher or these scholars or this organization, they help you see the whole world differently, and then you find out some things about them that you don't agree with. So it's almost as if it will crash your motherfucking system. So be very mindful of who you listening to. You know what I'm talking about? Be very mindful of who you following. Be very mindful of who you are allowing to change your brain. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'll get back with y'all. The website for the retreat is www.mountshastaMeditation.com. Mount, MT, Shasta, SHASTA, meditation.com. Okay? So I look forward to anybody, to the family, like I said, on both occasions, the 14th and the 3rd, so we can link up and continue to build. All right? Y'all have a good one. Peace.